the Raw and Real Estate podcast with my great friend Belladonna and I, trying to give you tips and tricks and things that most people aren't going to tell you and how it really works in real estate. So today we're going to hit it quick because Belladonna is a busy person. She's got a million things to do. Everybody wants her time. You should feel absolutely honored that she gives it to you like she gives it to me. So with how's that for an intro, Belladonna? What do you think about that?
I think we're streaming live and I'm watching. 2 seconds.
See, she's busy. She's a girl. She's catcalling strangers.
If you're like, what in the hell did I just do? My daughter and her sweetheart were just walking by my office and they are getting pre-approved for a house today. How exciting.
Yeah.
They're going to be in here in studio in just a second. So the topic today is house hacking, how to house hack your way to wealth in real estate. This is a really, really cool topic.
And for those of you guys that don't know what house hacking is, you've purchased a house. How can you move forward with financial wealth and putting yourself in a better place, having your money work for you now? So there's a lot of different things that house hacking can mean, but it all boils down to how you can make that work for you. So we're just going to jump in because we've got a lot to get through and a little bit of time. So Belladonna is a huge fan of the first one. Belladonna, start us off with multiple family units. Tell us about how we can get this going.
Okay, so this is a strategy to employ before you even start looking at homes to buy. Now, the drawbacks of this strategy is sometimes the price point's higher and you may or may not qualify, but it's this. When you go out looking for a property, look for a property with one of the following: a rentable basement, ideally with a walkout, or take a look at a duplex, triplex, or a fourplex, because here's the deal. You can get an FHA 3.5% down loan to buy up to a fourplex property as long as you own or occupy one of the units. And what's even better is you can use the rental income from the other 3 units to help you qualify for the loan, as long as there's leases in place that you can submit as part of that qualification process. And that is just a genius way to get into a first property.
With most people don't know that you can do that. They think that FHA or VA, you have to have one person, one gas meter. That's all there is. They don't know that that's even an option, but that's huge. Again, as long as you live in one of the units.
One of the units, that's the rule, right? So that's kind of our, and then the other one would be to look for a home with a rentable basement. Now, you could be listening to this podcast from anywhere, right? But in the state of Utah, because we have an actual legitimate shortage of housing,
big time,
the state passed a House bill that basically says you are now allowed, if you have a rentable unit inside your home, you are allowed to rent that out, long-term rental, to anybody you like. They don't have to be a family member. So the old rule said you could only rent it out legally if you were zoned residential to a family member. And you had to go, yeah, that's my first cousin. So
right
now they've done away with that. The rule is for long-term rentals. Now, short-term rentals is on our house hacking list, but it's a little later down on the list. So,
and that's a little different the way it works. But like Belladonna was leaning into with the basement, there's a couple different options. I mean, first and foremost, you can rent out a room. Okay, yes. One room, rent it out, long-term rental, make that happen. Okay, good amount of income right now. A lot of times, people just for one room are getting $700 plus a month and getting that religiously, just constantly coming in. Now, if you have an entire basement, you can do a full basement apartment. And basement apartments, I've seen them, even teeny tiny kind of crappy ones, that are pulling in $1,200, $1,500 a month. If you have, let's call it 2 bedrooms, 1 full bathroom, and some kind of kitchenette kind of area, and if you have a downstairs laundry, you are set. You're going to have constant people wanting that. You're going to have a wait list for it. you can kind of print your own money. It's pretty easy right there.
You've got somebody paying your mortgage for you, basically. So great friend of mine helped him buy a home out in South Jordan. It's exactly what he was looking for. It had to have a rentable, turnkey, walkout basement. I haven't checked in with him. I believe it's 2-bedroom, 1 bath, and he, I believe, is renting that for $1,850 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad. Not bad.
No, not bad at all. Now, anytime you rent, please, for the love of all that's good, pre-qualify your people. Make sure that they're people that should be in any rental, especially your home, to make sure to protect yourself and everything and your investment. But there is a lot of great opportunity here, more so than has been in the past. And there's a lot of agents that'll scream, and a lot of people, oh, it's never been better. It's never been better, no matter what the market does. Really, it's never been better than right now to get a good amount of income from renting a room or renting a basement apartment. It's kind of a perfect storm.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, because we're talking about a basement apartment, let's talk for a minute about short-term rentals, or STRs for short, right? So the first rule for an STR is check with your local city, okay?
Sure.
And your HOA if you happen to be in one, because there are going to be different ordinances. But if you're good to go with a short-term rental, you might consider doing that in your out of your space instead of just a traditional long-term rental, because on average, I mean, just conservatively, you'll usually make double, but we've got clients that are making 4x what they would make on a long-term rental on a short-term rental instead. And
there's a lot more to that. So you should make sure that you have the right team in place to clean, get it prepped for new people and everything. There's more to it, but there's more money, more problems. That's kind of what it is. But if that works for you, there's more money in there, even after the, extra expenditures to make sure that you prep it and get it ready for the next people. Talk to Belladonna, talk to myself. We'll help you walk through if that is a good option and what's the best one for you to walk down.
Yes, absolutely. And we'll do a whole episode on just STRs, because there's enough to talk about there.
Oh, for sure.
And so now here's some ones that you might not have thought of that are really out of the box. And I have been fascinated with the ingenuity of people. So you don't just have your house, you might have some parking. So if you have RV parking, if you have a room for a boat, or if you've got an extra large garage where you've got some extra space, you can rent all of that out too. Lots of folks live in a place where they simply have nowhere to park a boat, an RV, but they would really like one, and they are more than willing to pay for that space to park that equipment. Now, make sure from an insurance perspective that they're covered, you're covered, right? Because you don't want to open up any kind of liability issues. But I'll take it even one further. So an agent that's actually one of my agents has RV parking, and he has an RV on the side of his home. He has turned his RV into a short-term rental. And I was like, are you kidding? Like, do people actually rent it? And he was like,
well, you told me the numbers that he was making. They're pretty exciting.
He's making $1,800 a month by turning the RV that's parked next to his house into an STR. And he said it's absolutely booked up and people love it. I was fascinated by that. And I was really impressed by his ingenuity. So, because seriously, how often do you take your RV out?
Exactly.
Really? But you could rent it out the entire year that it's sitting next to your house.
And if you have that space, that's just thinking outside of the box and just extra easy, like printing your own money income.
Yes. And let's be clear, they don't have keys. Well, I mean, they have keys to get in. They're not driving the RV around. The RV stays parked. It stays where it's at, next to the home. And they're simply using it as a short-term vacation rental. And people just stay in the RV.
And Lawrence just posted that RV rentals in Las Vegas are on fire, or in Los Angeles are on fire. And I'd imagine that's the same in a whole bunch of places. And It's just a good amount of income that you can get from, rocks or concrete on the side of your house that you're just not using. Might as well turn it into an income source.
Heck yeah, right? And then, and I'm distracted because I'm excited because my daughter just got here and they're in the other room. I should holler at them to come in here and be on the podcast. She's like, she heard me. She's like, no. Okay, so then our last one, and we flew through these, Shay, but
we did fly through these, but this one's going to take a minute because there's a couple different ways that we can go about this one, and I love this one personally.
Yes, and here's the big one, right? We have been, I don't want to say brainwashed, but we've been trained in a very old school kind of philosophy, which is you buy a home and you pay it off. Mm-hmm. That's it. Now, I will say that there are other ways to leverage your home into far greater wealth and security, because people think, well, hey, if my home's paid off, then I'm safe, right? Because I won't have a mortgage payment and my home will never be taken away from me. Okay, how old are you going to be when that's paid off exactly? How old?
Exactly. And
now,
I was a stockbroker for, 13 years. So I understand the concept, and owning your home, paying it down, and just having that sit in there. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but it's kind of like buying blue chip stocks or T-bills. Okay. Not to get into all that, but they're very safe, low return investments. And you can utilize the equity that you have in your home and really capture and captivate and use that in, we'll go through a couple and jump in because Belladonna does have some family stuff, but you can take out a home equity line of credit. And if you have enough to put a down payment on a commercial loan, you can buy another property as a rental. Okay. That's great. You can buy a new home and utilize your home as a rental with, again, different underwriters and things like that. It'll be different. But many times you can have a 1-year lease agreement, and instead of having your personal house as a liability, it comes in as an income center to help you buy another property, and you have that income on your existing home. And another one is if you want to flip houses. Be careful, guys. Don't jump into that just all willy-nilly. Make sure you have the right team. Flipping houses can be huge, but flipping houses can cause you bankruptcy as well. Be very, very careful.
Flipping is, shall we say, highly speculative.
Exactly. That is very speculative, and it can be great, but it can also cost you pretty much everything.
So, yes. So we will say, word of warning, flipping also is worthy of its own entire episode. But so basically, folks, if you think of it like this, right? What most people really need, when people get into financial trouble or when they're building wealth, both sides, same coin, different sides. Usually what it comes down to is cash flow. How much cash flow do you have coming in to your household every single month? And when folks start getting into trouble, having paid off assets does not necessarily help. What they need is streams of revenue, right? And so one of the things that happens when you do nothing but pay down your home. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't pay off your home, right? And I think that there is a point when at some point you've got these other assets, you do start paying them down, right? But you think of it like this. You've got a home and you've got equity just sitting in it. You might have $100,000 of equity. You might have $500,000 of equity sitting dormant or inert in your home, and it's not doing anything. You're getting, not only are you getting 0% interest on that money, but you're still paying interest on an underlying loan, and it's not getting balanced out anyway. It's just money out. If you tap that equity in your home, so let's just say hypothetically, you've got $100,000 and you go buy another property. Let's just say you own or occupy that next property, move out of your existing home and turn that into a rental. Depending on the structure of your home and what's allowed in your area, you might turn it into 2 rentals, top and bottom, if you've got a walkout basement. Now
you got RV parking.
Yeah,
right?
you've got
There's
your
a lot you can do to have your money and equity working for you. Should anything bad happen, you've got that income rolling in consistently. Or if nothing wrong happens, plan for the worst, hope for the best, everything goes great. You're putting that money in month after month after month, building that, and then you can utilize that for other investments, paying it down. It just helps your largest financial asset work for you.
yes. And so I'm about to have this conversation with my daughter, right? They're out looking for their very first home. And a lot of times folks get hung up on, well, we just want it to be perfect. You're like, listen, buy whatever the heck you can, right? Whatever you can get into, you buy it. It doesn't have to be perfect, because here's what you do. You live in it for a couple of years. Then when you're in a position that you've built up enough equity in that property, you pull that equity out, put it down on the home that you really want, springboard out of that first property into the second property, keep the first property, turn it into your first rental. Guys, most people don't realize this, but the average person only needs to acquire 5 real estate properties over the course of their entire life to retire a millionaire. Just 5, not 50, not 10, 5.
And let's be real, being a millionaire does not go nearly as far as it used to. And if you look around, prices, inflation, interest rates, they're all up. You're going to need more money long-term, not to live like a king by any means, but to live the same lifestyle that you're hoping for or step up a little bit. You're going to need more money for it. So planning now, whatever age you are, unless you're like half a step from death, okay? If you're going to die tomorrow, don't do this. But anybody else, doing something now will make sure that you have a better financial future then. The earlier you start, the better off you're going to be. And if you do it responsibly without overreaching and overstretching, which is easy to do with the right team to make sure that everybody's in place and we're watching, your finances from the beginning to end, it can be truly powerful.
Absolutely. So the last piece that I want to chat about because I know a lot of people are like, oh, but the ideas of rentals, I don't want to fix toilets. Always. Oh, why? Everybody's obsessed with fixing a toilet. This is interesting to me. But folks, here's the thing. All joking aside, I think what it comes down to is the idea of trying to manage it and rent it. And what if I have to evict somebody, and how do I screen them, and collecting rent? It just seems like such a headache. Guys, this is what I'm going to tell you. Okay. Get a property manager. From your first one, just get a property manager. They're more affordable than you might realize. They're worth their weight in gold when you work with a great one. They screen the tenants. They take the phone calls, not you. They handle evictions if it ever comes down to that. They
make repairs. They just ask you if you authorize the repairs, and other than that, they send you checks.
That's it.
Just like any other job, there's good ones, there's bad ones, and a whole lot in between. Call us. We can tell you through many years of experience who's been a consistent butt kicker and gets it done for their clients as a property manager. Like anything in real estate or investment, your team means everything. If you have one that truly has your best interest in mind and that you can trust and knows what they're doing, it'll make it a whole lot easier. Call us. We'll put you in touch with this. It doesn't have to be that fear. You don't have to have that. It can be not easy, but it can be truly lucrative way more than it is hard.
Yes. And so what's the first step to house hacking? It's just buying a house, folks. You get that first property, and then instead of just thinking about it like a traditional, I'm just going to buy it and live in it and pay it off and be done. Think a little bit outside the box, because within a startling short period of time, and we're talking like 10 to 15 years, guys, you have the ability to acquire, again, you don't need to have 5 great properties that you hold on to over time. And then when you're ready to retire, man, now you can really start to cash out that equity where you sell them. Yes, you'll have a little gains. Maybe you roll them into other investments, right? But nevertheless, you're going to be so much better off than if all you did was keep the one home and just pay it down.
Yeah. And guys, this is totally doable. I have a number of clients that buy one new property every year, and I think they're personal rock stars, but it's not something that isn't duplicatable, that you can't do well and consistently and make a whole lot of money on. Having said that, we're already making Belladonna very late for her family thing with her, with her daughter. So we're going to cut her loose. And Belladonna, I appreciate you. Please ask for forgiveness from your daughter from letting us steal you on her time.
It's okay. Well, we kind of started a little late.
We started a little late, but we got a lot
Tom?
done pretty quick.
Yeah, because my building got broken into last night. And my daughter was like, what the hell? So, okay, guys. And then I'm going to bounce. Our building got broken into last night by a crazy guy, like ninja'd out from head to toe in black. We know, because they pulled up the video surveillance on the building. There are multiple businesses in my building, and we're in a really nice neighborhood in Compton.
Speaking of which, do you know if I left that black hoodie here last night?
Oh, shut up. And ours was the only office that did not get broken into. I'm like, it pays to be good.
That's right. That's right. All right, guys. Thank you very much for hanging with us every week. We appreciate it. Please make sure to send us the questions that you have, the concerns, the fears, things like that, so we can work together to help you feel comfortable and confident in using real estate to further your goals and your finances. We're here to help you. We do this to help. Let us know, and we'll see you next Friday live.
All right, Shay, thank you so much.
Anytime. See you guys.
See ya.